I just want to do a little video to show you how you can make your own cat bobber, which is actually very similar to the one you can purchase. Here's one that I've made myself. I got some reflective tape on it, but this is basically like the same thing you can buy from Cat Bobber, and I'm going to show you how to make it yourself. Some things you're going to need: drill bits. These are coffee straws. I just got these from a gas station. You're going to need a 2-part epoxy. I got a wire wheel, utility knife, regular knife, drill, a pool noodle, and most important, Old Orchard juice. We're actually going to use these tops from these juice to actually make the cat bobber. So first step, you got to make some juice and drink it. You just need the top. You're going to need 2 of these per bobber, so let's go make them. Alright, first step is to cut the length of your bobber. Now that can vary between the size of your bait and also the weight of your sinker that you're going to use on it. So first thing I did is I cut this a little more square. It's not really square and we want it to be as flat as possible. So I cut that. Now I'm going to probably do 5 to 6 inches. We'll go a little bigger on this one here. So there we go. Now one important thing is your straw is going to go inside here. So you want it to stick out when we're done making it. So don't make the bobbers any longer than the straws unless you can get longer straws, and these coffee straws from a gas station seem to work pretty well. So alright, so we got our bobber cut. There's our lid. These foam pool noodles fit right inside of there, but as you can see there's a little void. So what we actually got to do is, there's 2 lips in there, and we're actually going to cut with the utility knife right along the edge, the outer edge of that one, and then you'll have a smaller version that actually fits right over the top, and your line won't get snagged on it. You could probably do it this way, but your line might get snagged on that when you cast. So by doing it this way, it's flush with the bobber and you're not going to have any issues. So there you go. Then you can just take your knife and clean that up. And if you want to go a step further, you'd actually take some sandpaper and smooth that out just to get any edges off, but it shouldn't really matter. It should be pretty good. So there, I got 2 sides for the bobber. Now I'll go to the next step. Next step, we're just going to rough up the plastic because it is smooth and we want the epoxy to stick to it. So just going to use a wire wheel brush here and rough it up a little bit. Alright, now we're ready to assemble the bobber. We're going to glue the caps onto the foam here on the pool noodle. So I got this two-part epoxy I got mixed up. Now I tend to use quite a bit of epoxy on here because this pool noodle does kind of soak in some of that epoxy. So I like to just put a bunch on there, and then I'll put a bunch on the cap as well. Got the top side done. Now I'm going to take a cap. I'm just going to put it on the inside of the cap here. Spread it around. And get a little bit on the sides of the cap as well. And we're just going to assemble. Now there's going to be some that squeaks out the side, so I just spread that out. That's going to help give a little more adhesion. So now I'm going to just do one side there, and I'm making some others, so I'm going to do one side on the other one, and then once that's dried I'll do the other side, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I got that drying now. Here's one that I've made prior that's already cured. You can see it's solid. I can move it around, it ain't coming off. Now I got to drill holes in here so I can run the straw through so your line can go straight down the hole. You don't necessarily need a straw in there, but it'd be really hard to fish your line through. So I just like to put these coffee straws on that I just grabbed from the gas station when I got a coffee. So I got a drill bit that's the same size, slightly bigger than the straw, so it slides in easy. And we're just going to go ahead and drill a hole in the center. And the nice thing is there is an indentation. You're not going to be able to see it on camera here, but there's an indentation right in the middle, so should make it pretty easy for drilling your hole. Alright, we got our hole drilled, so now the straw can slide in there. Now we just need to line it up with the other side. Push it through. And now we just got to epoxy the straw and then trim it when it's done, and your cat bobber is done. So just a little tip, when I squared off the pool noodle, I had a little extra piece here, so I squared that off as good as I could and cut this notch out. Now what I'm going to actually do is take a clothespin and pinch the bottom of the bobber and put it in there. And now it's going to give me a stable base so that can dry, and then once it's done I can trim that over and flip it around and do it the other way. So now we're going to mix up some epoxy here and glue the straw in. Alright, now we're going to mix this epoxy up and we're going to glue that straw in. It's going to be kind of a handheld thing. And don't worry about getting it too high, because you can always cut it when it dries when you're going around the straw. But I like to just take a little mixing spatula here and spin it around, get a good glob on there. Just spread it around. I like to spread it around the cap a little bit just to give it a little bit more surface area to hold on to. So now we're going to let that dry. We're going to trim it and we'll do the other side. Alright, there's the cat bobber. I clipped the straws off. The epoxy's dry. It's ready to go on the water.